What is the most heartbreaking story that you've encountered as a result of, period poverty?
Yes. One of the most heartbreaking encounters I had was when I went to the north, Tamale. I never thought this was possible because how is this even possible? So we were engaging young girls on some of the ways that they manage their period because we were going to support them with menstrual products and even set them up as producers of these pads. One of the participants actually told me that where she comes from, very, very remote area, they use ashes, charcoal ashes to absorb blood. And I'm like, no, you didn't hear my question. She said, yes. So I was like, no, wait, can I record this? And she said, yes. So I actually recorded her because this is unbelievable.
Okay.
You're-
You need to hold that.
yes.
Like I'm trying to make sense of it.
From first steps to world stage, every leader has a black moment.
Miss Amdiya, thank you for being with us on the Black Moment today. I had the privilege of being on a panel with you, and after the conversation from the panel, I'm excited that we are able to, continue our conversation and even dive deep into the work that you do and the impact that it's been making in the lives of tons of young girls around Ghana and beyond. I would like you to introduce yourself.
My name is Amdiya Abdul Latiff. I'm the founder and CEO of EcoMe Africa. I actually lead two social impact driven organizations. Yes, one is a social enterprise and the other is a non-profit called Rural Girls Empowerment. And then we actually metamorphosize into a social enterprise called EcoMe Africa. So at EcoMe Africa, what we do is we are working to fix the menstrual health and waste challenges, not just in Ghana, but across Africa. Currently, we are the leaders in this space when it comes to reusable menstrual products in Ghana.
I told you how my wife was the one that actually got me to know about the things that you do, and she's a big fan. And right now, I know one of the questions that she would like to ask you is the same question that we at the Black Moment would always ask every one of our guests. What is your Black moment? What's that pivotal moment that you decided that the path I want to take is this part of period poverty, that this part of like girls' menstrual health, because there are a ton of problems within Africa. What is that pivotal moment that's made you make this decision?
Yes, so I would say that pivotal moment for me was when I got to experience first-hand period poverty when I was posted to the rural community as a service teacher.
Oh, okay. As in national service.
Yes,
Oh,
right after university, I came university. I completed K University, and then I was sent to the rural community as a service teacher.
yeah.
That was when I actually, experienced the life of rural communities, the extreme poverty, inequalities, and underdevelopment. I've lived all my life. I came like tech. I was even born at Tech Hospital.
Oh.
I did all my education at K University on campus, and so I wasn't privy to some of these very critical challenges these young girls were going through. So when I relocated to the rural community, and my young girls were actually missing school days simply because of pads. Some were actually put. This is an experience I lived with the young girls. There was one very moment, I think that was the Black moment for me, when I was teaching, and then an old woman approached me. In rural communities, they don't have gates to the classrooms.
Yeah.
So I observed this woman approaching my class, and she just walked to me and she was like, "Could you please allow my daughter come home to breastfeed her crying baby?" This was GHS 2 students I was teaching. And It means that I had mothers in my class, and I was taken aback, and I'm like, what? She's like, she has to go home and breastfeed her baby because the baby won't stop crying.
Yeah.
So that was just the moment for me. So I decided to ask so many questions, and the teachers were laughing at me, and they were like, "Oh my God, you have no idea what these young girls are going through." And upon further investigation, some were actually pregnant in my class.
What?
Some of them were pregnant. Some of them were coming to school from their boyfriend's home. They were living with their boyfriends and coming to school. And that moment, there was a mother too who came to me to plead with me to talk to my student to come home, to come back home because she left home for over a month. But she comes to school. Can you believe that? She stays with her boyfriend and then comes to school and then go back. So upon further interrogations, I realized that all they wanted or what they were suffering or facing was because of course, poverty. They were unable to afford, upkeep. Some of them couldn't afford their basic needs like, books, uniforms, sanitary pads. So I decided to help, and I set up a mentorship club. And then I was giving them, with the support of, benevolent people, I was giving them uniforms, books, pens, and I was doing a mentorship class, as I mentioned, connecting them to nurses, midwives, because in the rural communities, they don't usually see some of these high achieved women. So, in fact, they don't aspire to be such women because there's little of such in the community.
Yeah.
So, there was a time I did a pad distribution. They loved it. When I distributed the normal disposable pads, they loved it. But the challenge was that they needed monthly supply and lacked proper disposal facilities. Because when you go to the washroom, you could see the pads you've given to them all over with the blood and everything. So that was a challenge for me, and I had to rethink to actually, how do we manage our period, or how do we support young girls to manage their period in a more safer, sustainable, and hygienic way. That was why I went into reusable menstrual products.
That's big. That's deep. I was just thinking about this, and being a person that is really experienced in this aspect that you're talking about, because I also run a foundation, and we have girls that we care for, we have boys that we care for, and we see firsthand all of these challenges that you talk about. But then it's one of the things I would like that you will expound on is that aspect of poverty, because I feel like when we talk about poverty, it has been such a thing that people have like talked about like so many times, but in a way, people don't understand the extent of it. The extent of poverty that would make people leave home and decide to live with a boyfriend. I would need you to like just throw more light on that, because people don't understand the correlation between these things. As a woman, I would want you to like shed light on that particular aspect. The pressure, the frustration that our young girls get into because as a result of poverty that make them decide to find a safe space, a security with a man.
Exactly. In fact, extreme poverty has the tendency to strip off our dignity. This is very, very critical, especially in the rural communities. As I mentioned, lack of opportunities, lack of development, underdevelopment, and years of marginalization. So this is not even an issue of just poverty, but coupled with so many other factors I mentioned, actually pushes these young girls who are women. Already being a woman is a disadvantage because of what? You have so many things that are pulling you. And then on top of that, poverty. So household, for instance, families who are who are struggling to actually provide for 3 square meals per day for their family, are unable to prioritize a young girl's menstrual needs over their upkeep. So this is where even some parents push, Cornelius, because of poverty, some mothers actually push their daughters to go out and seek for partners. Because in kind of like exchanges, so you haven't seen your fellow friend, she's been able to do this for herself. What does it mean? It means that why are you unable to acquire some of these basic things? Do I have to provide everything?
Yeah.
Poverty causes this. And that was what was actually the major problem in some of these areas. So poverty, because of that, they fall prey to these men who promise them their basic needs. And of course, menstruation, you can choose to stay hungry, but you can never choose to not menstruate.
Mhm.
So this is something you have no way around it. But of course, ending up stripping your dignity as a woman.
I love the note at which you ended that. That you can go without food, but when it is time, it is time.
Yeah.
And this will lead me to the second question. What do you see when you see a pad? Because some people just see it as just a product, but what does a pad mean for you? Because you know exactly what it means for every child. What does it mean for you?
Yeah. When I see a pad, I see a future, a girl's future. And the pad moves beyond just a girl's future to a national development.
Yeah.
Because this girl, if she has access to this single pad, she will have the self-confidence to stay in school. She will learn hard, acquire quality education, become better in life, earn higher income, lift herself and her family out of poverty, and her entire community, and this translates into a national development. So you see how a simple pad can have a triple or multiple or ripple effect. So when my people are making the pads, the women that sew the pads in my factory, I tell them, you see this pad you are making somebody's future. You are making the future of Ghana. You are empowering somebody somewhere to not fall prey or get pregnant. Because, just because of that single pad you mentioned, a girl will drop out of school. First of all, they use very unhygienic means, like rags, socks, newspapers, anything they find. So because of that sanitary pad, she will have infections. She will drop out of school. She will get pregnant. She will repeat that cycle of poverty and inequality she finds herself. So you see the extreme side of this situation.
Yeah.
What falls between is a pad. So this is very, very important.
If I would ask, what is the most heartbreaking story that you've encountered as a result of, period poverty?
Yes. One of the most heartbreaking encounters I had was when I went to the north, Tamale. I never thought this was possible, because how is this even possible? So we were engaging young girls on some of the ways that they manage their period, because we were going to support them with menstrual products and even set them up as producers of these pads. One of the participants actually told me that where she comes from, very, very remote area, they use ashes, charcoal ashes to absorb blood. And I'm like, no, you didn't hear my question. She said, yes. So I was like, no, wait, can I record this? And she said, yes. So I actually recorded her, because this is unbelievable.
Okay. You need to hold that.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to make sense of it. You take firewood, you burn it turns charcoal, it burns and turns to ash.
And they collect these ashes together.
Yeah.
They add a bit of water to dampen it.
Yeah.
And apparently it absorbs water. Only God knows how. You put it down there. And trust me, when I dig that deeper, can you believe some even use cow dung?
Oh gosh.
Yes, you can Google. Look, this is a This is the story of many, many more girls, millions of women and girls across the continent in Africa. People are using, oh my goodness, yeah, people are using very, very unhygienic means. So this was one thing I experienced. In fact, the cow dung, I'm here to actually, because I learned it's happening, but I've never experienced it. But for ashes, I had a first-hand experience with somebody who was doing that before our intervention. So yes, these are stories that are all over the world, and they are realities on grounds.
You know, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking the only thing that's going through my head now is infections. You know,
Yeah, the sad reality. Women suffer in silence every single month. Yeah.
I kind of need a minute to like take that.
Mm.
And yes, as you said, women suffer in silence, and and breaking that silence is one of those powerful things that you do,
Mm.
because we see how you go to communities, educating them, and you know, helping them to understand stuff about their body, the female reproductive system, stuff like this. But at the same time, firsthand, I understand the challenge of bringing something new to the community,
Mm.
something that they don't know before. And you are, in a lot of times, confronted by this aspect of, like, you know, menstrual conversation, a taboo where communities don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, how do you navigate that?
Yeah. That's a very difficult situation. It has been one of the most challenging areas for me, because there were moments when the mention of reusable pads, even by educated people, you have no idea, because menstruation has suffered years of misconceptions, taboo, stigma. So nobody wants to talk about menstruation. How much more how to manage it?
Yeah.
And there's that public perception about menstrual blood being dirty, filthy, and impure. So nobody wants to even talk about what they use to manage it. And that was what, in fact, have you asked yourself how our great-grandparents were managing their period? With no infections, with no challenges, with no pollution on the environment. How did they do it? But at which point did we come to think that we are so impure, we are so dirty and filthy, that we don't need to even wash off our blood? You know, because, you know, it all boils down to when people wanted to introduce the disposable part, we were made to think we are dirty, filthy, impure. So there's that convenience of discarding your menstrual blood away. Because if you don't know, you don't know. Knowledge is power. If somebody tells you your menstrual blood is dirty, is impure, it's actually a disease, and they give you something, look, take this thing, you use it, discard it off. Do you know the product? Do you know the composition of that product? Disposable parts are made from 90% plastic and take about 800 years to decompose, outliving the entire lifespan of the user. So you can imagine the tons of waste that we've generated on the planet. Half the world is female. So if for every minute, every woman, menstruating woman, or every 2 to 3 hours, women dispose of their menstrual pad, which will take about 800 years to decompose. And then imagine the tons of menstrual waste. And
I
this
just don't want you to glide through that. Like, I need us to like sit with that in a way. 800 years.
In fact, the very first part that was made has still not decomposed yet, because it takes about 800 years to decompose because of the plastic content of these parts. You understand? And they are practically impossible to recycle because of the organic matter.
Yeah.
Mixed up with blood. You can't recycle this. You can't repurpose this. You can't reuse this. So what kind of waste are we generating? Moving beyond the environmental impact, come to talk of our health. You know, you can Google it yourself. The chemical composition of disposable sanitary pads, some of them actually are very harsh. So a lot of women suffer in silence in terms of allergies, reactions, rashes, and reactions and infections, discomfort. And because of the plastic, when women wear it, there's so much heat down there because we wear panty, we wear, underpants, we wear jeans, and you bring about this. So there's so much going on down there. We don't even want to tell anybody because, of course, nobody wants to talk about menstruation.
Yeah.
So, as I said, women are going through a lot, and it's very important we rethink how we manage our daily lives. Not just menstruation, our daily lives. How do you manage your daily life without polluting the environment, without consuming too much of chemicals? You understand? And then, of course, we've already talked about this, the high cost of these sanitary pads for these women who are in these very remote areas where even 2 square meal is a problem for them. So that's how the challenge has been. And of course, the conversation around menstruation, you mentioned the stigma. Nobody, in fact, those perpetuate. In fact, that is why I'm so excited to be talking to you. Because as a man, championing menstruation and menstrual health conversations around menstruation just puts it on a different level. Men are our biggest allies when it comes to conversations around menstruation. You can't even spell menstruation without men. So you see how ironic this is.
Yeah.
Imagine a man telling me, I think you are dirty because you are menstruating. No matter how informed or educated or empowered I am about my body, hearing you say that to me has so much impact on my mental health.
Yeah.
So when we go to do our education, that's our entry point, actually. Education, awareness, sensitization. When we go into these communities, we don't just educate the girls, we engage the boys too. We engage the teachers, we engage community leaders, parents. We even form community debates, gatherings, where we bring on board queen mothers and community leaders to talk about menstruation, to appreciate. Because if you don't understand something, there is no way you are going to support it. But when the young boy in the class actually appreciates or understands the biological and the physiological aspect of menstruation, then they begin to appreciate and support their young girls when they are menstruating. So we have a whole curriculum, we call it the MHM Diva course, which entails a lot of trainings, from even including self-defense, from menstruation to how babies happen, how menstruation happens, to how to manage your period, how to even self-defense. Yes, we teach them self-defense because we understand we want to provide a 360 education coupled with the product, access to education, access to product, and even facilities, so that we can provide a holistic solution to empower the young girl to reach her full potential.
This is deep, and I love the fact that it's to get to the stage that you are. There's just been I could just see so much work that you've put into it, and hearing your voice, like there is a deep kind of like core, should I say, energy that is just oozing out, and anyone listening to you could see that this is your life, and now it takes me to the question of dignity for each girl. How do you think solving the issue of period poverty would make a girl's life better? In what way would it shape their life from their education space? We've talked about self-esteem and all that, but just put this to just one girl that you are able to solve this particular problem for. What would these?
Earlier I mentioned, on global level, they came together, UN, to develop goals that can help to empower people. Just access to menstrual products actually enforces 7 of the current sustainable development goals. Yes, that should tell you how important just this sanitary part not only provides dignity for the young girl.
Yeah.
One, no poverty. That's the first SDG. We strategically target socially disadvantaged women in making of these pads. So women make the pads for women. They make the pad for the women.
Yeah.
So apart from period poverty, we are talking of quality education. A girl accessing this sanitary pad will ensure that she stays in school to acquire education. No more monthly missing of school.
Yeah.
And then that means quality education. And then good health and well-being. That's another SDG. When she accesses these pads, of course, she will have good health and well-being. Gender equality. She will stay in school, become a better person, earn higher income, and of course, tackle gender inequality. You understand? And then climate action. When our production processes eliminate the high-intensive processing of plastic, we just use manual production process, which is good for the environment and it's good for the body as well. Yeah. And then, of course, responsible consumption. This is very good for the body, it's good for the environment, it's good for the pocket as well. And partnership for impact, water and sanitation, so many. Yes, I'm telling you. So there's that ripple, like, it's like when you use one stone to kill so many birds. You see, so it's the issue about
the domino effect.
Exactly. Menstrual health, okay, and hygiene is like the low-hanging fruits that if we are able to tackle, could actually solve a whole lot of other problems.
Yeah. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. The extent that this can just go for every girl child. I'm a girl dad too.
Yeah.
And I always speak about how much of the power wielded within a girl child has been trapped by society. And if we can unleash that, how much our society would really thrive. And I feel like you are in the front line of this fight, giving back power to our girls. I adore you for that. Now, I want to talk about the woman behind this mission. So, tell me about Amdiya.
Amdiya is this woman who is very passionate about whatever she's doing. I believe so much in passion because when I started, I was put off. In all ways. Everybody was like, oh my goodness, you're talking about reusable. So the only thing that drove me, or the only thing that kept me moving, that kept my motivated me, was that passion. So like, I'm a very passionate woman. You have no idea where I can go with my passion. I go with my chair in places where I'm not invited. And the only driving force is passion.
Yeah.
I was invited by my partners to attend the World Health Summit side event as a speaker, organized by the Gates Foundation and other partners, Stewards, Siemens Foundation. And so I was the only one from Africa. Yes, and I was supposed to speak with, oh my goodness, professors, doctors from these very big universities across the globe. So yes, and it was one of the most challenging moments for me because I sat throughout the night. The next day for my flight, that was when I sat down to put together my slides. Can you believe that after my presentation, I got so many people coming up to me telling me you were the best presenter. I even got DMs, and this was like, oh my God, somebody from God knows some corner somewhere in Africa could actually be on global platform and being recognized with so much humility. You know, it's just amazing And I think God has been incredible. Putting God first has been amazing for me. And of course, I have these 3 P's that has always guided my path. It has always been, of course, my first P, which is passion, perseverance, and of course, purpose. Because there's something I carry so big that it is like this. I can't wait to see every girl everywhere access sustainable menstrual products that will not only protect their body,
Yeah.
but also the environment. So that is my purpose in life.
Yeah. What was the biggest obstacle for you in this particular journey?
Acceptance.
Hmm.
Acceptance. It has been one of my biggest obstacle. Misconceptions and mindsets. It's difficult to get people to actually change their mindset when they hold something so dear, or when there's that already constructed mindset about something. They love it, but because of the societal misconception, everybody aligns. And that is why I would encourage people to take the road less traveled. Because
Take the road
less
traveled.
There's mine on that way. Because when everybody thinks this way, just pause a second and ask yourself, what if I give it a thought? Have an open mind. So I think that has been one of my biggest obstacles, because I've done this for over 10 good years. It's taken so many years for finally to finally get this conversation, even on national level.
Yeah.
Trust me, years back, nobody wants to hear reusable. Even when you enter rooms, our regulatory bodies on national level, international forefront, nobody wants to hear this. But research has been done. This is working actually in so many countries. And I still stood by my ground, because when you go to eastern parts of Africa, reusable pads are changing the menstrual health landscape. Go to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. But Ghana, it has been so difficult. Sometimes I shed tears. People make me cry. I do cry. I cry a lot, because people will say things to you that, it's all out of ignorance. And it's all out of mindset. Can you believe that some few months ago, I think a month or so, the whole world converged in Ghana to develop standards, ISO standards, for reusable pads and other menstrual products? Yes, I was invited as a panelist on that. So globally, I think conversations are changing. And I think we have actually jumped ahead of. This has been, I always say reusable pads came too early for Ghanaians, because they didn't understand it. But I think we are there now.
Yeah, and there will always be people that have to be on that front line to push it, because without people like you leading the conversation, even when people don't want to hear it, we wouldn't have times like this where people are becoming more open to it. And we have such a long way to go. I tell you, such a long way to go. The 10-year-old Amdiya, there is no you without her. What were the things that she learns within the time? That's made you? What are the things that you had to unlearn in your journey that's made you who you are?
The top on the list will be confidence. Yeah. My 10-year-old girl or self was very timid. Very timid. Naive, nervous, never believed in herself, was introvert, 100% introvert. Do you think I'm introvert? Do you think I'm introvert?
Right now, I'm like, where is she?
Just me. That was it. So I think I had to unlearn,
Yeah.
relearn, and that has actually changed the trajectory for me, because I always thought there was a thin line between confidence and arrogance. And there still is
Yeah.
a thin line between confidence and arrogance.
Yeah.
And I always threaded carefully,
Mm.
but trust me, if you don't take the risk, you'll never know.
It's true.
Be humble, but go for what you want.
Mm.
And lastly, I will tell my 10-year-old self, you are powerful and beautiful naturally, and so is your body and menstruation. Go, girl.
Thank you so much, Amdiya. You just dropped the Black Moment tagline: learn, unlearn, relearn, evolve. That's exactly what you've done. Before you go, take a second to follow or subscribe wherever you are listening or watching. That way, you'll never miss a conversation that could become your next Black Moment. Until next time, stay kind, stay epic. This is the Black Moment.
Where extraordinary life reveal ordinary moments.